Hello there, Leos. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot video forecast. We are going to be dividing the month up into 4 different time frames. We're going to start with October the 1st through October the 10th and just see what kind of energies come in during that time frame. I like to divide things up rather than just look overall at the whole month. This way we get to watch how the energies sort of flow through in a little bit more depth than just looking at the whole month all by itself without breaking it down a little bit. Okay, Leo, let's start off with your environment. Your environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. It looks to me like your environment is actually an ideal space for you right now, Leo. It's exactly what you want it to be. It looks like there was something that was causing you some kind of sadness or heartache in your environment before, some kind of tension, and that has been healing. Okay, so you haven't been feeling as sad, that tension hasn't been there as much, and that has come to an end during this cycle from October 1st through the 10th. And so now your environment is one that you're feeling very comfortable in. You're feeling like now that that is over, that is an ideal environment for you. Yay! Good for you, Leos. Next, we're looking at your subconscious leanings. It does look to me like you are working on the idea of collaboration and collaboration with somebody else to work together on some kind of project. This could be things like being a part of a band or, you know, a project at work or some kind of hobby that you're a part of. But I do see collaboration here, and it looks like you've really got a lot of options around what kind of collaboration you can go with or who you can collaborate with. And so I think that you're kind of daydreaming about, okay, well, which one would be the most fun to go to, or which one would be the most productive to get into. I do think that there's a little bit of some kind of resistance that's sort of holding you back from moving forward with a collaboration, even though you have all these options to choose from right now. And so I think your subconscious is really working around this idea of, okay, what's the resistance and how do I get beyond the resistance to get into a collaboration that I really like and enjoy, and I'm hearing also is profitable for you. Okay. So next thing we're looking at, Leos, talks to me about 2 different things. First of all, your learning style, then your communication style. For learning style, I do think that you're doing some meditation or some type of communication with the divine, getting in some information like that, definitely. I also feel like there are some things that you're learning that are very tactile. Isn't that interesting? You're learning through feeling something, as in feeling something with the fingers, with the skin, seeing what things feel like. I can't say I've ever had that come up as a learning style before, but that's what I have there. And also, what else is this? It does look like you have somebody who is teaching you something in a more formal way. So this could be a trainer, a coach, a professor, a teacher. This could be a friend that's teaching you something that they know, but it looks like this is some type of teaching that's coming across in a more formal way. So even if it's a friend that's teaching you, I think they are setting up these lessons in a way so that they can build on, you know, they can start out with information and build on that information and just keep moving up. Okay, so that's learning style. Next thing that we have coming up talks to me about communication style during this particular time frame. I do feel like you're communicating a lot with the people in your sphere of influence at this time frame. With some of the people that you're communicating with, I think you're working really hard to impress them with your communication and how you communicate, maybe the words that you use, or maybe the way that you dig into topics as you're talking to them. But there is a lot of communication going on, and some of that communication is going to be around material goods. So you may be communicating with somebody and telling them, look, this is why I deserve a raise. Or you may be talking to a friend about maybe some type of investment idea that you have. Other things that I see about your communication style are that I think that you present your idea in a very balanced way, or your ideas right now in a very balanced way. But if somebody doesn't get the picture as you're presenting in a really balanced way, the barbs come out. There might be some sarcasm. You might get frustrated with them not understanding what it is you have to say, or not being ready to sign on with your thoughts or ideas. And so you may prod them a little bit with some sharp and cutting remarks, something sarcastic. All right, so that was communication style and learning style. Next thing that we're going to look at is work. For those of you who have been following me for a while, I see work as two different things. I see it as that way that we make a living or feel productive in the world, but I also see work as those things that we do to improve our own character, to make us happier with who we are as people, as a person, to ourselves. Okay? So when I look at work, first of all, I'm going to say I do feel like you're working. And I think that there's some information coming up at work that really wasn't accessed before. So there's some information coming up that may have even been kept a little bit on the down low. So some of that is coming out. And it looks to me like you may be receiving some kind of bonus or some kind of extra. Maybe you're even doing something on the side to create some kind of extra, but I see you stash some money or some kind of material good away. For those of you who are preppers, maybe this is just you making a significant contribution in your prepping area. So it could be material goods, but for a lot of you, this is going to be just straight up money that you're stashing away. Okay, so that is all about work, work, work. Next, we're going to look at inner work or character work. I do think that you're working on your character, first of all, and I think you're facing some things about yourself that are not so comfortable to face. Maybe this is the first time that you've really looked at these things. We all have, our darker side. We all have those things about our personality that we're not so proud of. I think you're looking at some of those things that you aren't so proud of and sort of accepting them, understanding how they came to be, and really working on sort of stashing those away and making them a less dominant part of your personality. Okay, that's what we have for inner work. La da 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 da. Next thing that we're looking at here, Leos. Leo, Leo, Leo. That part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Oh, I like it. All right, so Leos, it looks like you have a big decision in front of you, and I'm laughing because there's two ways that this decision could come in. It could be that you have two romantic interests and you have to choose between one or the other, and so that's what I was laughing about. Or it could be more professional, that you have two ways to make an income that show up here. Maybe you have two offers from two different employers or two different situations. If you're an investor, maybe you have two investments showing up that are both look like they would be nice, solid, stable, secure investments, and you have to choose between one or the other. So if this is more about your love life, both of your people that you're having to choose, or maybe you have more than two, they all show up as being people that are stable, that you could rely on, that you could count on for the long haul. And same way with the investments. These are stable. These are long-term. These would be more along the lines of something that would be what I would consider more of a passive investment than, you know, just a one-hit thing. So you have a choice to make. I think you're making that choice. I really don't see you having any trouble making that choice, whichever way it plays out for you, Leos. I think you'll be able to figure out which way you'd rather go either way pretty easily. Next thing we're looking at is something that you stand for. Okay, so Leos, it looks like there's something that has happened where somebody pulled a fast one on you, basically. And for a minute there, you were sort of in pity party mode, feeling sorry for yourself that you let this happen to you. And now you're in a pretty good place as far as self-esteem. So you're not beating yourself up anymore about how did you let this happen to you. You know that, you know, there's nothing wrong with expecting people to be good people and expecting people to honor their word. You know, the person who did something wrong is the person who didn't honor their word. So you're not feeling like you are necessarily beating the drum of being a victim here, as much as you're more, well, you know, things happen and now I'm moving forward. I've learned my lesson and I'm moving forward, that type of thing. And I think somebody's really, I think they're having a hard time understanding that, because if they had position, they would still be beating up on themselves. And they're having a hard time understanding how you can be confident and just move forward and still be looking for similar situations where somebody's going to be more honest and have more integrity with you. I think they probably would be scared away from whatever this is, whether it's an investment opportunity, project, whatever. And so they're kind of confronting you about it because they see this as unwise, where I think you saw it as a learning opportunity. Now you've learned the lesson, now it's time to move forward and try again. So how are they seeing you after you're explaining this to them? They see you as somebody actually who's very very honest, that has high integrity, that you can see baloney 10 miles away. And they're also seeing you as somebody who doesn't put up with baloney. And they're seeing you as stressed out. I kind of feel like they've got a misperception here. I think they're projecting a little bit of themselves onto you, because I don't see you as being stressed out. I see you as being confident that you've learned what you need to. Now you're moving forward. But I think they're projecting onto you that, well, you know, that person must be stressed out after going through that. No wonder they're being careful, you know, and now they've seen the red flag so they can see BS 10 miles away. All right, so next thing that we're going to look at is where things start to shift a little bit during this time frame for you. So this is going to be the flex period. Let's see what's going on during your flex period here, Leos. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Okay, so it looks to me like you are playing some type of balancing game here between the responsibilities that you have and the responsibilities that you don't want to have. There are responsibilities that you do have, but there are also responsibilities other people would like you to take on. And I think that you were telling them, no, no, that's not what I want to do. I already have the responsibilities that I want. Thank you very much. You can take that one and pedal it down the road somewhere else. Okay, what else is going on during this particular time frame? You're very hopeful about something that's going to bring you happiness and fulfillment. And even though you're hopeful, I do feel like you're waiting patiently for this thing that's bringing you happiness and fulfillment. So this does not feel bad to me. This doesn't feel like, well, I'm waiting and I'm waiting in vain. No. This feels like, you're just waiting. You're just being patient. There's happiness and fulfillment at the end of the rainbow here, and you're just waiting till the end of the rainbow shows up. La da 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 da. What else is going on? Is this Leo? somebody in their sphere of influence. So Leos, I think there's, yeah, there's something going on during this time frame that you're witnessing, and this may be why you kind of have boundaries up about some of the responsibilities that you're going to take on. It looks to me like you're witnessing the breakup of a marriage or of a long-term commitment. And you're witnessing this because somebody has done some things out of anger. And because they were angry, they've put themselves in a situation where now they're feeling left out in the cold. You know, they thought that they were going to be angry and make the other person pay. And it looks to me like the other person has said, you know, I just really can't deal with your anger. I can't. And so now this person who thought they were going to be, you know, getting some kind of revenge or retribution from the other person they were angry at is the out. And this long-term commitment is really turned on its head. I think you're witnessing this, Leos. I don't think that you're a part of this. I'm witnessing this to somebody that's close to you. And I think that you see what's happened here. You see how this person sort of shot themselves in the foot by thinking that this other person was just going to continuously accept their anger over things that may or may not even make sense to be angry about. And I think that you're seeing this from the outside, but even seeing this from the outside, I think you're taking away some lessons from that you're applying to your life as well. Some of you are taking away lessons that, you know, hey, I need to appreciate what I have, unlike this other person did. And others of you are taking away the lessons of, you know what, I don't have to put up with that much baloney either. All right, so different ones of you are seeing this from different perspectives, but you're taking away from some lessons from this that's happening so close to your own space. These are people that are close to you, that are important to you, that mean a lot to you, and you're watching all of this go down and just learning from this situation. The sad thing is, I don't think that the other person is learning from this situation. The other person is just frustrated and surprised that the person they're trying to, you know, vent all this anger onto isn't up for it. Okay? All right, so where do we see you guys at the end of this particular time frame? Well, you're seeing somebody's true colors for the first time, and you're sort of taking them off of a pedestal and seeing their true colors. You're starting to realize, oh, they're human too. Darn it. I thought they were Superman, or I thought they were Wonder Woman. Okay? And at the same time, I think that you're also getting in some kind of news about money or about material goods that is not the type of news that we want to hear. But, and I think this has to do somehow with seeing this other person's true colors. But I see you really, Leos, I really feel like you're taking control of the situation. Like once you realize what this situation is, I feel like you're feeling the need to just step up and steer this, and turn it into a different direction than what it was originally before you saw this person's true colors and before you had this news about finances. So I see you taking whatever this is that you're working on with this other person, I see you sort of pivoting it and taking it a different direction once this information comes out. Okay? So that's what we've got for that time frame, Leos. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. I'll take a break, come back, and we'll look at the next time frame for you. See you in a minute. Thank you for being here, Leo. This time we're looking at the time frame from October 11th through October the 17th. Let's see what's going on for you during this time frame. Had a pretty decent last time frame. I was happy about that. Let's see what's going on this time around. Okay, Leos, let's start with your environment again. Remember, any place you have energy or effort invested can show up in the environment section of the spread. It looks like your environment right now is costing you money. And I think we are talking about the home environment. So it could be costing you money because a landlord is raising the rent, or it could be costing you money something about somebody who's an authority figure. So this could be like a landlord raising the rent. This could be like the government raising taxes. But there's something here that shows that it's costing you money, and I do think this is your home environment in particular, and it's costing you money because of some type of authority figure that is adding somehow to the expenses of your home. Okay? La, da, la, da, la, da. All right. Look next at your subconscious leanings, Leo. What we have on your subconscious leanings. Looks to me like you've been disappointed by somebody who has taken some type of rash action. They really haven't thought through what they were doing, and they may have thought that they were actually standing up for something that they believed in, but they went without having full information and later on ended up regretting what they did. But they took some swift, rash action, and whatever that action was, it left you feeling disappointed, Leo. And so now I think that, in your subconscious, you're working on what do you really think about this situation? How do you really feel about this situation? Where do you stand in regards to this situation and this person that took that rash action, swift rash action? Next thing I'm looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. So in learning style, I do think that you're looking at something different than what you've looked at before. You may be taking some kind of classes or seminars or some type of more formal version of learning about it. I think also you're finding out some kind of, or researching some kind of information about money. For many of you, this is going to have to do with your 401ks, or, if you have matching plans, employer matching, or things like this that you're going to be actually learning about during this time frame. And also, I think something here about spirituality or religion that you're going to be finding out about or researching, maybe just because you're coming in contact with somebody who's a different version of spirituality or religion than what you're really familiar with. And so I think you're going to be finding good information on things along those lines. Now, as far as your communication style, I think you're being very careful not to hurt somebody or not to set somebody off as you're interacting with them during this time frame. Once again, we do see communication about money. I feel like there's some kind of negotiations around money going on during this time frame as well. And there's also some communications going on that have to do with emotions and feelings and how much you care about, for some of you, people, but for others of you, about causes or about things, things that are a little bit more intangible, but definitely conversations around feelings, helping other people understand why you feel the way you do about certain things. And I think you're also going to be coming to a clearer understanding of how somebody feels about you, or why they feel the way they do about some things that maybe have frustrated you before. Their feelings around those things have frustrated you before. Okay, so that's what we have for communication and learning. Next thing we're going to look at is work. So we'll look at outside work first, that work where you make a living or how you feel productive in the community, and then we'll look at inner work, or what you're doing to improve your own inner character to make you happy with who you are. So at work, we do have a big shakeup happening, and there's a lot of drama around this. I get the sense of a lot of people kind of competing for a top dog slot. So there could be definitely a shakeup in management at work. There may be a buyout, or it may be that Somebody who has ultimate authority comes in and says, I'm not too happy with the way you fellas have been doing your work here. And so they start moving things around and shaking things up. So I think there's going to be a big shakeup whenever it comes to management at your work. I think there's going to be a lot of people competing for promotions. Notice, plural, promotions. There's going to be more than one place that is going to be vacated. And so this is going to be a whole lot of drama until this all gets settled down. And I think that you're going to have a really non-productive time at work until this gets settled back in. Okay. As far as inner work, there is definitely something that you're looking at a lot differently than you used to before. And I think that even just that change in perspective has you a little bit out of odds, where you kind of don't know what direction to go at this point. It looks to me like something that you used to believe firmly. You don't believe it anymore, but you don't know yet what you actually do believe. And so you're exploring in a bunch of different directions all at the same time. And I feel like as you're doing that, this is really something that takes your focus off of income or bringing in money. So you may even be taking time off of work to sort of get your bearings again around this belief that is changing. La da da da, la da da da. Okay. Next thing that we are looking at here talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded during this time frame. So there is something that you're coming to an acceptance about. I feel like this is a situation where you have been released from either a relationship or a working situation, most likely some type of relationship. But it's interesting because I don't see you fighting this release. I feel like you're just kind of accepting of this. Maybe you saw the writing on the wall already. And I also see that you're not really unhappy at being on your own here. You're not unhappy at being, I think you're doing quite well as far as self-sufficiency financially. I mean, I think that you're able to put together the resources that you need to do the things that you want to do, even with this release in place. And I think you're doing well. I think actually you're enjoying this idea of being on your own, whether this is a release from work or a release from a relationship. If this was a release from work, I would have to say that you already had a backup plan in place, or you already had something, a business that was growing on the side that you were ready to just, jump into it full barrel. So I don't see, whatever this release is, it's not showing up to me that you're seeing this as a bad thing at all. It looks to me like you're seeing this as an opportunity to really move forward in a healthy way. All right, Leos. Let's look next at what you stand up for. So there's somebody in your sphere of influence that you've had to defend or stand up for by the time this time frame rolls around. It's somebody that is actually from your past and not really your favorite person that you're having to defend here. This is somebody who can be really emotional and do a lot of overreacting, really dramatic emotional outbursts. But a lot of times when they're doing these emotional outbursts, the reason they seem so overdramatic is because this person really hasn't reacted to a lot of things along the way. And so things have built up and become residual. So by the time they do blow their stack, they're reacting for about 5 years of things that happen that they should have reacted to in little ways all along the way, just had little conversations and done some course correction kind of, but that hasn't happened. And so now all of a sudden they're just losing their cool. So this is somebody that you're standing up for. And like I said, they're from your past. You're not even that thrilled to have them around in the present. But it looks to me like this person is trying to get their stuff together. And I think you're standing up for them because of that, because they are trying to get their stuff together. And somebody's probably said something kind of nasty about them. that you just thought was overboard or overkill. How this other person sees you right now is they see you as putting out a lot of energy and effort, really to give this person a second chance when you know it's not going to work. So just by you defending this person, even though they're not your favorite person, I think the person you defend them to, I think they think that you would like to have a second chance with that person and pour out a lot of energy and effort to do that. That's their take on the situation. It's not mine, but it's theirs. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at has to do with your flex point during this time frame. So this is where things start to change direction a little bit for you during this time. So what we have going, so sorry about that. I'm pretty sure I just swallowed a piece of dust while I was talking. I'm going to be editing out that coughing fit. Anyway, so you are, during your flex period, you are finding this level of security and actually even upping your level of security in the tangible world because you've been prepared. You've been prepared to up that. You've been prepared to upgrade things or increase things. And I think you've been prepared that there's this splitting off of this collaboration. I think you kind of saw that coming. You saw the writing on the wall. And so I think you were really prepared for that, and you are actually upgrading your level of security even without that collaboration still happening in your sphere of influence, or in your manifestation, I should say. Now, what's going on at the same time? Things are actually going very well for you in most areas of your life. And I'm going to say, for a lot of you, you used to be somebody's love, and now you're not. And I think that that's really heartbreaking for you. But the way these cards come out, this to me looks like you dodged the bullet. So if this is a person that released you and it really broke your heart that they did, whether it's a friend or a romantic partner, business partner, whatever, Spirit is basically saying here, this is actually a good thing. Maybe it's in disguise to you, but this is actually a good thing. So Spirit is not unhappy. Spirit's heart is not broken that this has happened, to tell you the truth. I know that sounds really harsh, but that's what's coming through in the cards. Spirit's reassuring you that this is not such a bad thing. Don't think that the sky is falling, because it's actually not. It's actually just the opposite of that. Okay? Also, what's going on here? You do have somebody, and I'm not sure if this is the same person that released you or not. I kind of think maybe it is, but I wonder why would they still be pestering you. But I've got somebody here who's basically kind of rubbing things in your face in a negative way. And I think that this is not, they're not finished doing that. Okay, so this is an ongoing thing. And even after you get through the flex point, I think they're still gonna be doing this. So it's easy to see why your heart's broken, because they're just adding to and adding to and adding to. But still, I feel as if you've dodged a bullet. The way these cards showed up, I'll guarantee you dodged a bullet. And in time, you'll look back and say, thank God that that ended when it did. But I think that just because they've released you, they haven't quit. I don't think pestering is a strong enough word. Annoying, harassing. I think they're still harassing you. They're still harassing you. I don't understand that. Why would you release somebody from a relationship and then still harass them? There's something not right with your person there. How do we see you ending this particular time frame, Leo? I think you're being given an opportunity to restart this situation where this person released you before, and you're saying, no go, Joe. Not doing it. Not going there. You're very focused, actually, on moving forward, on becoming more healthy, on being productive. You've got some things that you want to do that you're going to enjoy doing. And you're becoming more focused on those. You're like, you know what? You were kind of a distraction. And maybe I needed that when we first met, but I don't need that now. I need on some other things. So for the second chance, thank you, but no thank you. All right, so that's where we see you at the end of that time frame, Leos. Let me go ahead and take a little break, come back, and we'll look at the next one. On during your flex point. Welcome back, Leos. This time we're looking at October 18th through the 24th. See what's happening in your world. Leo, 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 Leo. Okay, Leos, let's take a peek. We're going to start with your home and, well, with your environment. Doesn't have to be home. Any place where you have energy or effort invested. Last time it was home, for sure, but this time it could be anywhere. Let's see what's happening here. So, Leos, it feels like whatever's going on in your environment has you feeling a little bit unmotivated and unenergetic, but there are things going on there that are good, that are bringing good things to you, and you are recovering from something that happened before. This actually kind of makes me wonder about if this isn't work for you, the environment that we're looking at this time, because we have this recovery from some kind of shakeup. And remember last time we were looking at a shakeup in the workplace and the management. It looks like money is coming in just fine if this is work, but I feel like you're not exactly happy about everything that's happened so far. So it may be that, you know, some of the people that got shaken out were some of your favorite managers, and so now you're getting used to the new people potentially. That's what I'm going to say for an example, but either way, environment, whatever your environment is, you're not feeling very energetic there right now. It is in recovery mode from something that happened before, and there are some payoffs there. There are some good things happening there. Next, let's look at subconscious leanings. Okay, so for your subconscious leanings, it looks like there's something in the past that you are letting go of. You're letting go of some kind of old grudge, hurt, wound, injury. Maybe you are accepting somebody's apology if you're lucky enough to get an apology over whatever this was that had you feeling in whichever version of funk you had. I do feel like you're also being very patient with this person who hurt you or insulted you. And you are taking a break from this person, and your subconscious is working on, maybe you're not taking a break from them just yet. Maybe your subconscious is working around the idea of taking a break from them, and if that's really what you want to do or not. But it does feel to me like something has happened to where you're able to empathize with this person more than before for whatever they did to you. But I do feel like you still want to sort of take a break, step back, kind of regroup and figure out exactly how you do feel about this situation. And so you're working on that in your subconscious. How can you make that happen? Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. We are going to talk about learning style first. Money features again. Learning about something about money and planning for money. Making sure that there's plenty of it. We do have a lot of new information coming in. I'm not sure if this is formal learning or if this is just something that you're interested in and you're finding out a lot of information very quickly. And then we have some information that you're finding out about or things that you're digging into, and that's very much emotion based. So you're digging into this because you're drawn to it, because you want to know, because there are emotions somehow tied up with this information or the results of having this information, one or the other. Next thing that we're looking at is your communication style. Once again, I do see you communicating about money. Last time we saw you communicating, like negotiating about money. This, I think, is talking about communicating with somebody about how to increase your money. So maybe talking about different investment ideas or investment plans, things like that. You could even be talking to a financial planner, but doesn't have to be. This could be a friend that you're throwing around some ideas with. Maybe you're talking to somebody about investing in something, but definitely some communication going on about growing money. What else do we have here? I do feel like there is a certain amount of light chit chat, and it comes across to me that you maybe feel like you're forced to have this light chit chat with somebody in your life. I know that you guys are typically very outgoing anyway, but this just has the energy of like, I have to chit chat with this person. Maybe otherwise it'll reflect badly on my evaluation at work, or, you know, there's just some reason why you feel like you have to chit chat with this person. Or possibly group of people for some of you. La da 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 da. And then we have the spirituality theme showing up as well again. So I think you are communicating with somebody about a particular mode of spirituality or different modes of spirituality, but there is some talk there around spirituality or around a particular religion. La da 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 da, Leos. Next thing we're looking at talks about your work. Yeah, what's happening here? I want to expand this a little bit before I start talking. Okay, so for work, it looks like you've gotten a partial go-ahead is what I'm going to say. You've gotten the go-ahead from somebody about doing something, and I think that you have sort of stuck your neck on the line with doing something here, but then you've got somebody else that is throwing up some resistance, and this may be government. This may be that you've got to go ahead to work on some type of project, and now the government is stepping in and saying, whoa, 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 we're not issuing that permit. We're not allowing you to do that there. What you're doing is not legal there. And so now you're in kind of a vulnerable situation or a vulnerable position because you're somewhat committed to this project, possibly even financially, and there's a delay there. There's a delay there. Maybe even a stop, maybe a full-on stop, but definitely a delay. All right, and I do believe that it's coming in from either government or big business, most likely government. All right, so in our work, you're really working on taking down the boundaries and being more social with people. I think you're making a conscious effort to be more social with the people around you. It's funny because normally that would be a part of your personality, but in this case I don't think it fits you. So you may be trying to be social with people that normally you would choose not to interact with at all. And that's where that inner growth is, to expand yourself to be able to be social with people who are not your normal type of friends. All right, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that part of your personality, which is being grown or expanded as you go through this particular time frame. It looks to me like whenever you can find some time to get by yourself and really think about things, prioritize things, figure out what's important to you and what's not, is when you really are able to have your most success during this time and even bring in more finances during. So it may take, for you right now, Leo, it may take you spending some alone time to really get your manifestation game on good. La da 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 da, la da da da. All right, so next thing that we're looking at is something that you stand for during this time frame, Leo. What's happening here? So Leos, there's some kind of situation in your life where you were being generous with somebody in some way or other, thinking that that was going to help improve their situation over time. And what you found out is that it's really not improving their situation, it's just making that person more dependent on you. And so you decided to cut off that generosity or whatever it was that person. You decided to no longer share it because you want this person to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be an independent being and productive. I think that as you have done that, you're feeling really down. Number one, I think it was hard for you to do this, but also you're feeling really down because what you're finding is this other person is more or less spying on you or stalking you, rather than going out and expending the energy to create the resources that they actually need for themselves instead of coming to you for them. They're spending their time actually just researching you and stalking you and finding out information about you, and maybe even coming to you and saying, well, look, I know that you've got this, I just don't understand why you're not sharing it with me now. You know that I need it, that type of thing. Okay, and this has you really in a funk emotionally. You just don't know what to do with this person because they're kind of refusing to move forward in a productive way. How are other people seeing you as you deal with this situation? They can tell that it's not making you happy, but you are putting this situation definitely in the past, and they know that you feel very strongly like this is the right thing to do. And so they see you really moving forward productively. They see you using this energy or finances or whatever it was that you were sharing in a productive way to accomplish something else somewhere else. Okay? And so, but the thing is that they understand that this was not a decision that actually made you happy to have to do it to start with. Okay? So the next thing that we're going to look at for you, Leos, is the flex period during this time frame. This is kind of where everything starts to change direction for you during this time frame. Doesn't have to go a full 180, but it just goes a little different direction. It sort of pivots a little. So what do we have going on here? You're not feeling very much in control of your life. You're not feeling very much in control of your life right now, and you're feeling like, I think you're like you're alone even when you're surrounded with people. And you're not feeling like competing with anybody at this point. It feels to me like you feel like, you know what, I've competed for enough of my life by now. I should be top dog. I should have earned that respect by now. And if people can't see that, well then, you know what, I'm not going to lower myself to compete with people who are only half as skilled or who only know half as much as me. At the same time that this is happening, there is definitely a transformation going on in the way that you are perceiving things and the way that you're thinking about things. And you have taken some time to really consider something really well and decide what's the best way for you to go with this situation. And I think you're bringing the situation that you've been thinking about so hard, I think you're bringing that to an end. Just like you're not competing with these people, I think you're bringing the situation to an end as well. So now we're looking at, there's definitely some work that you're doing during this time frame, and I think the work that you're doing has this element to it of something that you're bringing back from the past that kind of got put up on the shelf for a while, and you're pulling it back out, revitalizing, reviving it. And I think you're also really looking at, okay, how can I make this better than it used to be? How can I grow this? How can I make this more productive, more fruitful, more happiness making? And so as you're bringing this back out and dusting it off, you are looking at, okay, how can I improve it? So you're not only bringing something out from the past that you've done before, but you're also updating it and you're making it appropriate for the world now as we go through the whole the COVID crazy. Okay. Where do we see you at the end of this particular time frame? we see you being very diligent about sticking to your financial plan, sticking to your budget, making sure that you're not making sure you're doing what you need to bring the finances in. I think that right now what you're doing to bring the finances in is not necessarily something that makes you so happy or makes you feel inspired. I feel like this is just kind of what you're doing temporarily until happiness and inspiration sort of get off the ground more, but this is regular, steady income that you can count on. And so I see you working on that. All right, so that's the end of that time frame. We've just got one more to go for the month of October. I'm going to take a short break, come back, and we'll hit that last time frame. Thank you guys for being here. See you soon. Welcome back, Leos. This is the last time frame for October. We're going to be looking at the week of the 25th through the 31st time. Happy Halloween to everybody. Let's see what comes up for y'all. What comes up, what comes up, what comes up for Leo? Okay, Leos, let's look at your environment. Oh, wow, we have you showing up in your environment. Ooh, as the magician. You're manifesting the things that you want in your environment. And part of what you're manifesting is this idea of pulling away from something that you don't enjoy about your environment as much as you used to. So maybe there was something about your environment that really fit before. Now it doesn't anymore. Maybe if your environment, if we're looking at home this time, maybe your home was perfect before because you had a big family and now all the kids have moved out, and so now you're wanting to sort of downsize that environment. So this could be that what you're doing is you're manifesting a place that fits better now for you. Or it could be if you're having a baby, bringing a baby home, you could be manifesting a place that fits better in that way, that's growing, that's expanding. So there's something going on with your environment where you're going away, you're moving away from something that used to be attractive to you that no longer is, and you're manifesting that change so that your environment can be just as attractive to you moving forward as it was in the past. I like it. Next thing that we're looking at is your subconscious leanings during this time frame, Leo. There is some action that you want to take and you want to stand up for something that you believe in. The problem is that you realize there's something fishy about this situation. You know that you don't have all the information that you need, but you just can't quite put your fingertips on what it is that you're missing here. And so instead of making this focused action to stand up for what you believe in, your energy is kind of scattered here because you're not sure that focused action is actually really appropriate right now. So part of where you're spending your energy is in doing research, doing due diligence, making sure that that action would be appropriate before you take it. And that is what's going on in your subconscious mind during this time frame. Next thing we're looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. Oh wow, this is the second time we've had this show up in your learning style this month, and this is that you are changing a perspective quite dramatically. quite dramatically. You're looking at something differently. You are learning a lot of new information, new things. A lot of this is coming out from talking to people in your environment, and you're finding out the truth about something. Now, earlier we found that, there was this idea of, there's information that you can't quite put your fingertips on. I do think that it's going to be coming out during this time frame. And I think that this is going to have you seeing some things that are in the past in a different light than what you used to. This is where your perspective is shifting as you're finding out the truth. You're changing your opinion on something. So where before you wanted to come in and take action to defend something or to stand up for something that you believe in, here we see your perspective changing, and we're seeing you realize that everything is not as it seems, and it may not be such a good idea to take the action that you had in mind. Now let's look at communication style before I pick these cards up, which I almost did. Once again, being very careful about what you say to certain people, sort of walking on eggshells a little bit around certain people. There are other people that you're being very careful what you say to them. You're sharing information that they need, but you're not really, these are not people that you're chit-chatting with, or that they just don't really, that are none of their business, basically. Okay? And then, what is this last thing? I almost feel like with someone there's sort of a communication blackout. So you've got different levels of communication that are showing up here, starting with a communication blackout with somebody, just not talking to them at all, radio silence, so to speak. You've got somebody else who's on a need-to-know basis here, and then you've got someone else who you're talking to, but you're walking on eggshells. So communication is, I would have to say, that's definitely a little tense during this time frame, and it could have to do with the idea that that truth has come out. And so it's that truth may be something that's making the whole situation pretty tense right now. As far as work, what do we have? What do we have? What do we have? It looks to me like you're standing up for yourself at work. You're making sure that you're paid fairly for what you're doing. And for some of you, that means not doing as much as what you've been expected to do before. And I feel like there is communication about this. I don't feel like you're just arbitrarily deciding, you know what, they only pay me this much. That really should only cover about 6 hours a day, so guess what, I'm going to leave 2 hours early every day. No, that's not how I see this playing out. I do see you having a discussion with people who are in charge, supervisors, bosses, whatever words you want to give them, people in authority. And I think you're just explaining why different things are fair, and I think that they are going along with that. But I also think that they are saying too, this is just kind of how it is. And so there's a little bit of negotiation there. I think you may be deciding that you want to either set down some of your responsibilities there, or you may want to pull away completely from whatever this position is. And that opens up some time for you, and some life for you, and some balance for you. Let's look at inner work before I pick those cards up. Inner work, inner work, inner work. I really think that you're debating about what is the value of money in your life right now. What is money the most important thing? Is time with family or with friends the most important thing? Are relationships the most important thing? I get the strong sense that somebody of you, I don't know that this is all of you or that this is more than one of you even, but I get the strong sense that there's somebody that you have a relative that is either in hospice care or in the hospital, and you're really questioning, is it more important for me to go to work and have an income, or is it more important for me to spend time with this person while I can? All right, I really get this sense of really looking at your priorities and your values right now as being your inner work. And I think you're going to be changing your priorities, adjusting those priorities, and adjusting your actions appropriately as well, balancing things out in your life. Okay, Leos, next thing that we're looking at talks to me. By the way, that looks very healthy to me. Doesn't look easy, does look healthy. Okay, so the next thing that we're talking about is what part of your personality is being grown or expanded as we go through this particular time frame. Excuse me, because my throat is just getting dry with all this talking. All right. Excuse me. Growth or expansion is coming up, and that you are having a new understanding of some things. And that new understanding is coming through because you're realizing that there's somebody in your sphere of influence that you had been counting on, and you're realizing that they're flighty and that you can't really count on them because they're flighty. And so it looks to me like in having that experience, that has given you an epiphany about something, and it's helping you as you're making a choice about what direction you want to go in the future. That new epiphany is really being your guiding light there. So that's where you're growing and expanding. I think you're basically learning not to count on people who talk really great, but their actions don't back up what they say. All right. Next thing that we have coming up talks to me about something that you stand for. So there is a situation that I'm seeing where you took some time to really think some things over and really go into seclusion mode to think some things over and figure some things out. And when you came out of that seclusion mode, it comes up to me that there's somebody that you miss, but at the same time you also know that you can't be a partner to that person anymore, or maybe ever. But I feel like probably for most of you it's anymore. For some of you, you just have this opportunity to be a partner with them, and you're realizing that that's just not going to work. And I see you really moving away from that, feeling like it's something that drags you down or holds you back. Excuse me. And so you're moving away from that. And that's what you're standing up for to somebody else. Excuse me. All right, so how is that person perceiving you who has said something to you about this? They're seeing you as somebody who is following your intuition, that some things came along that you weren't expecting to come along, and that when they did, you followed your intuition and you realized that sometimes, you know, just because you've always been with them or just because everybody else thinks that you should or thinks that you will is not always a winning situation. It's not always something that's happiness making. And so they're seeing you as following your intuition because of that. All right, next thing that we're looking at does talk to me about the flex period. So this is the period where things start to go a little different direction during the time frame. So it looks to me like you do have some kind of relationship that's not over, even though we just talked about moving away from it. I don't see it as being over, and I see the two of you as coming back together during this flex time frame. What else is going on at that? I think you guys have more than one option here as far as people are coming back together with somebody, and I think you're really narrowing down the options. There is somebody who wants to get things back on track with you. And I don't think you're letting that happen. You're letting that person know that, no, you know what? I'm not putting energy and effort into this. I'm focusing on this other thing over here. It's interesting. I feel like it's two people from the past, both of them wanting to get back together with you, and you're choosing one. You're choosing the not flighty one, basically. And then let's see what else is happening at this time. I think you're doing a little bit of impulse spending at this time. You're feeling like you're abundant. And I think you have a really cool idea about something, but it takes money. And I think that you're spending some money on whatever this cool idea is that you want to do or that you want to pursue. Something that you think is cool and would be great. The only thing is it's kind of breaking the budget. How are we seeing you, or where are we seeing you at the end of the month, Leos? Let's see here. Looks to me like you are taking some time to sort of think things over, reevaluate things all over again. And I think that you are really examining what is this? I think what's going on is you want to do something nice for your friends, and you're really thinking about how can you do something nice for your friends that they'll appreciate, you know? Like not buying a meal for somebody who's on a diet, but what can you do that they would appreciate? So that's where we see you at the end of this month, is thinking about, you know, one of your friends and really considering what would be the best thing that you could do. And I think that you're wanting to do this just to basically say thank you to them for being there for you. Kind of a sweet thing to do. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody. Y'all are big softies. Okay, let me go ahead and close out this video. Thank you all for being here and spending some of your wonderful, precious time with me. I do appreciate that. Thank you for the thumbs ups on these videos. Those help to get these out to more people. Also, thank you for sharing these videos with others who may benefit from them. And of course, last but not least, thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions with me. Every single level of support counts, and I appreciate them all because they all enable me to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everybody have a fantastic month, and if I don't see you here for a private in between now and then I'll see you back on the next video. Peace out.